friends and families, Miss Alanna here. So I'm going to do our video this week, and we thought with the feedback we got it would be a great idea to do kind of a tinker tray with letters and some numbers. So what we mean by a tinker tray is, I'll just show you here, we've put together some things that we've had at school. So it could be anything like rice, doesn't have to be colored or dyed. Some pasta, whatever shapes work, whether they're spirals, bow ties, macaroni's another great one. Just some gems that we use at school for a lot of provocations. You can also use rocks or things like that from outside and your Earth Day scavenger hunts that you guys have done. We have these cute little circle shapes that are different colors, just some loose parts there. And we know that our kiddos really like playing with blocks, so we've taken some triangles that are all the same color to explain this provocation to you. And we also have different forms of letters and numbers. These were just all actually from the dollar store. They do have magnets on the back, so if you want to even do an activity on your fridge, that would be an awesome way to use them. And we just have some translucent kind of numbers that we'll use as well. Okay, so it doesn't have to be in a tray. You could use a plate, you could use any kind of divider. This is another example of a tray that we got from the dollar store. Or you might have something similar to this like lying around your house. So let's get started. So we know that a lot of you are looking for letters, so I'm going to try and do this backwards. We'll see how it goes. So I wonder if any of our friends know what letter this is. We start in the middle, we go all the way down, jump back up, all the way down, and then do our line in the middle. Our friends in Miss Shiva's class know that that's the way we write our letters, and that is the letter A. Some of our friends have their names start with A, and my name also starts with the letter A. So a neat way to do this for my friends in Pink Room is if you just get some form of light, or you could even do this outside on a sunny day. You just fill like a nice little plastic container with some sugar or salt, and you can write the letter on a piece of paper, put it over top. So for our Pink Room friends, you might want to use your hand and just uncover what you see. So when removing the salt or sugar, we can see the letter underneath. And then we're working with our gentle hands to shake and recover. So our friends that are a bit older in yellow and turquoise, we can practice writing our letters like this. And we're also working on our fine motor when we're doing this too. So we did our capital A, and then our little a, we do like that. Easy way to do it. Our next letter in the alphabet is B. So we're just gonna do our B, we'll flip it over, there we go. It goes down, and two bumps. Down, and a bump. And for my friends in Pink Room, you might wanna get your hands in there, uncover, and I know you're really good at shaking it to recover. So we've done two letters, A and B. When we're done, we can line them up, so we're practicing our sequencing. And our next letter in the alphabet is the letter C, like cookie. So C is a big curve, and our little c is a smaller curve. The next letter in the alphabet is D. So big D, little d. Pink Room friends, you might want to get your hands in there. Down, big curve, down, little curve. Or if you're using a paintbrush at home, you could even use the back of a pencil with the eraser is another great option. Okay, so C and D. So we'll take those out now and we'll sequence them. A, B, C, D. Anyone know the next one? It's a very big letter, and it's elephant starts with this letter. It is E. So we're only going to do 5 letters today, but let's see what E looks like. So if we were really looking to get in there for some sensory play, it's easy to uncover the letter, recover, and then we can try doing our E. And our little E looks a lot different. It looks like that. And recover. So that's just one way that we can do letters that we know the kiddos really, really enjoyed. When they were working with this program at school, they also started with chalkboards. Now, we just gathered some stuff that we found at the dollar store. So I actually found this neat dry erase board. It's actually in a cute little frame. And it actually comes with the marker that has a magnet to it and the eraser on the top, which is really neat. So if you open it and you find that your kids are doing well with the tracing and the sequencing, another way to extend this is to get them to try and actually copy on their own. So depending on where they were with the Handwriting with Tears program, they might need some help with this, but you can actually have them to try and use the whole board to do their letter, just like that. And then another way to reinforce it is to get them to erase it the same way they wrote it. So I know Miss Deidre here really worked hard with our friends, and Miss Shiva and Miss M and Miss Austin were helping our friends in turquoise with this. So this is a great way you can do it as well. So dollar store, pretty cheap, lots of fun. And one other thing I did want to mention too about the dollar store, Dollarama actually has this, is cute little letter boards. So an easy way to work on spelling, for those of you that really want to get your kids to spell their names, it comes with a whole bunch of different letters. So this works on letter recognition as well. So if we're putting letters out, they can actually pick out the letters and stick them on and spell their name. So not only is this great for letter recognition and knowing what the letters are, specifically capitals, because we always start with capital letters, you can work on spacing. So if we're working on writing sentences, you could even do an I want prompt that way, and they can see how sentences are structured and kind of how much space you need in between letters and words too. So just a neat little tidbit there if you're looking for an extra idea. So we've done our letters. Now we're going to move on to some numbers. So most of our kiddos are really great at counting, and there's so many different ways that we can introduce this at home. So if you have just plain paper, or you can write things down on the back of other paper. I've just done Sharpie markers. So you can technically like spread these out all over the floor. This is numbers 1 to 10, and you can help your child sequence them and put them in order, okay? So let's look at numbers 1, 2, 3 to start, and then we'll just set these aside for now. Okay, so we're gonna use our tinker tray here. So depending on where your child is, this is an activity that you would start doing with them to develop their skills. So what we mean by that is you might need to actually sit down with them and help them through it, because if they are left with something like this, they need some direction on what to do. So one thing that kids can do is possibly use a spoon and some rice to kind of fill in the number. So not only is this working on their play skills, but it's working on their fine motor, because they're trying to use the spoon while they're holding this and being very careful about it. So there's the number 1. Something else they could do too, the other loose parts that we have are pasta, so they could use tongs if you have, or their fingers are fine as well, and just placing them on. So I'm gonna put some in my hand here, and they're just kind of placing them on all the way down, or using your fingers. That's fine too. All right, and these are things that we would hope are easy to kind of get and use. And again, with the gems, if you're using the gems, you could use rocks that you find outside, grass, pine cones, things like that. So the idea is they're interacting with it and they're putting them on. So you could be talking about things that have the number 3 in them, what 3 is. 3 is 1 plus 2. And just making it fun and engaging for them. Alrighty. There we go. So that's our number 3. So another fun way you could do this too is number correspondence in 1-to-1. So what we mean by that is in the curriculum, the idea is that we have one item with the number 1 as an example. So again, using tongs, you could do it with tongs and getting them to put one thing on the number 1. I know I have a couple kids in my pink room that love doing that. And for the number 2, they can maybe take 2 blocks, 2 triangles and put them like that. Some kids might like to put them in a certain way, and that's great too. And then for the number 3, maybe they can get 3 things and also put it there. So if we're doing 3, they might want to take 3 circles and put them there. We'll just do 2 circles there like that. Another thing you might have at home, and just the last thing we'll kind of go over briefly, is you might have some dominoes. So dominoes are great because they have different dots, right? So here we can see there's no dots, so that's the number 0. But on this domino, there are how many dots? 1 dot, right? The number 1. On here we have 1, 2, 2 dots. Here we have 1 plus 2, right? So 1, 2, 3 dots. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. 4 and 1 makes 5 dots. 2 groups of 3 makes 6 dots. 5 and 2 makes 7. 4 and 4 makes 8. 6 and 3 makes 9. And 5 and 5 makes 10. So depending on their age, they might not understand that making groups makes numbers, but they will be able to count the dots. And that's a great way to extend this activity. The last thing that you might have around your house, you might not have a large cube like this with dots and numbers on them, but again, these were we got these from the dollar store a while ago. So these are great too. They could technically roll the dice and it would land on a number. Perfect, it landed on the number 1. So the idea there is that they would put the 1 with the number, right? You might have the small ones. These are great too and they're fine. They actually have the number. Just the idea that when kids are younger, if some things are bigger, it'll actually be a lot easier for them to handle and it'll really help their development for motor skills. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for watching and we'll see you next week. Bye guys.